I've told you. I have told you Owo is a great oceanic city. I told you there's nothing spectacular about a practical joker. The oceanic news, we are here again today. A very powerful nomenclature in our kingdom eventually stormed the whole studio today. I am not going to tell you the name. Before you know him, you have to say something. Just get the person. I told you individualism usually pave way for collectivism in life. We came to this world individually. And if we are going, we go individually, because it was when we got to this world that we collectively cemented together. By the time we will be going, we will go individually. When we go, whatever you do on earth, people will speak about you. Today, we want to present a heavily loaded personality in our kingdom. A seasoned sports journalist. He is known for all his exceptional communication skills, very powerful, well-read, widely traveled, and academically vivacious. His expertise spans various aspects of sports, including journalism, mental health and advocacy, and leadership in Nigerian football administration. That is the person of Honorable Kasali Obanoyen, I told you, in our kingdom. Those of you who grew up in our, we still recollect the story of Dr. Obanoyen. Dr. Obanoyen, that is their father. Happens to be a medical doctor who studied in abroad in those days. And if you see all what he has done in our kingdom, it is conspicuously juxtaposable in the history of the whole world. Here are some interesting facts about Honorable Kasali Obanoyen. He is editor-in-chief. As an editor-in-chief, he serves as editor-in-chief at Sahel Sports News in faraway Makurdi. Yes, a prominent sports journalism platform. Education, where he schooled, Honorable Kasali Obanoyen holds a degree in mass communication and psychology. That is those who deals with your mind, what you are thinking. Psychology and mass communication, very fluent in English language, well read, well versed. I told you it's academically vivacious. Obanoyen holds a degree in mass communication from the City University in faraway New York in the US. So you will discover that it's never a microscopic organism. So you will try and meet him today. He will tell us one or two things in our how Owo is going to be greatly developed. Yes. It is never an aberration that we brought him to our studio today. This is Honorable Kasali Obanoyen. As something happened just of recent, I was so happy the way you handled it. We learned you even went to the hospital at St. Louis. St. Louis Hospital. From St. Louis Hospital, you went to B Division purposely because of certain sport hooliganism. As a sport genius, sir, what do you think is the major cause of sport hooliganism in Nigeria, specifically in Owo?
I must thank you, Oceanic News, for giving me the opportunity to vibrate on some of these issues that are plaguing the community. A lot of issues are happening around here, not only in Owo, but specifically we want to look at things from the recent happenings around sports in Owo, wherein a certain school was said to have misbehaved, and a certain student from a certain school became a victim of such inappropriate sports behavior, where I was opportune to address a large gathering of students in a certain school in Owo. But I think everybody read different interpretations to the intervention. But my intervention on what I said was based on those things that you can see. The student from a particular school attacked the student from another school. The person that was attacked ended up in the hospital to the point that his hands were almost decapitated. So we need to speak up on the issue. So it does not really matter on whose horse is called, because when you mount a tiger early in life, it becomes an issue to disembark. So what we are having around some of the secondary schools in Owo, all of the secondary schools in Owo, is a situation that is happening to mounting a tiger, and how you disembark becomes an issue. And if you don't plan your disembarkment very well, anyone will be controlled in the process of trying to disembark. Specifically, last Thursday was the entire sport of Owo High School, and a number of schools were invited, including my alma mater, Methodist High School, that has just celebrated its 60th anniversary. In the process, caution was thrown into the wind, and people became apprehensive because the whole town around the FMC, Okidogbo, Aralepo became a theater of war, where students were throwing stones, bottles, even some were alleged to have actually brought in guns. What do you do with guns on Inter Sport Day? And why should people be afraid to speak up on it? So we've elected to speak up on it, just to be able to find out where have we gone wrong as parents, as government, as a community. As you are aware, our just rose from a sort of coordinated mayhem, where a number of our people or indigenes were killed owing to uncontrollable cult activities. So if people don't speak up on it, it's going to be a problem. But it becomes more concerning and discerning when this is happening in secondary schools, and principals or teachers are potential attack down the road, and people have elected not to speak on it. But we have taken the step to speak on it. The area commander is doing a decent job of our work. He's getting very much involved. The DPO is involved, and I'm sure the DPO of B Division that actually has the jurisdiction where the attack of Methodist High School student took place, where a student from Methodist High School is hospitalized, where the student that did all of this is from another school, in Made College to be precise. So all of this is in the side headquaters, if the side headquarters in Owo. So that explains the involvement of all the security apparatus, as we see, including the army that is domiciled or based in Owo. So why will people not speak about it? So for those people that are misrepresenting the fact that Methodist High School did this or Owo High School did this, we are dealing with a compendium of crime and criminals and potential armed robbers. If we don't talk about it now, this is not about the issue of Methodist High School alone. This is not about Owo High School. All the schools in Owo are involved, and I think that really informed the reason why the area commander met with the principals, and yours sincerely was actually asked to be part of the meeting as a concerned our citizen. All of us should be concerned about what happens in our community. Well, you read all the introduction about what it is that I've done in football, but I think I want to add a few of the other punches to it.
Yes, sir.
Aside being the chairman of Sunshine Stars and being the national coordinator of Lobby Stars, yes, I've had some other strategic positions in football development in Nigeria. Executive Secretary of Nigerian Professional League. I happen to have been the only individual that has actually served, that have served all the chairmen of Nigerian Professional Football League. Uluki Obaseki, Baribote, Davidson Omubi, Alhaji Shehu Kuso, Nduka Irabo, and the like, in various capacity, from media to marketing and sponsorship. And yours sincerely also benefited tremendously from some sporting activities induced scholarship by Super Sport West Africa, wherein a few courses were attended in the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa. And of course I took some time to do additional bit of reading the Boston College in the United States, in addition to all the things that you have read. And I think those things are just a compendium of what may have propelled me to be doing what it is that I'm doing. And of course, I belong to the school of thought that you must develop your community and give back sincerely. It happens to be I'm giving back in the area of sport. And of course, there will be hiccups down the road. Some people may not be happy, but I don't want to be somebody that remains on the fence. I want to be involved to be sure that our future is safe, our future is guaranteed, or remains a safe and a steady place for growth and investment,
God bless
as well
you,
as development.
I really appreciate you, sir. I'm very sorry, sir. This issue of sport hooliganism, how do we curb it?
Well, nobody has a straight arrow point about how you curb it. First, you want to go to the reason why sport hooliganism. It's a number of factors. You know, or have been in the periphery of war in the last 3-4 years from hooliganism. Okay, you look at issue that people talk about, parenting. This may have been affected by the current economic stress or economic pressure or economic stress. You know, are we taking active care of our students? Is it just get up in the morning, get your bag? Parents don't know those things that are in the bag. When for a fact students carry bottles, cutlasses, axes, and even some dangerous weapons to school, are parents checking that? That's going to be one of the ways. And number two, are we getting the students actively engaged enough? Is it business as usual? Do you just do BK literature or chemistry, biology without actually interpolating that with the reality on ground and see how we can get the students to be a lot more involved practically? Are we exposing them enough to a whole lot of entrepreneurial skills? I'll give you a short story. Dr. Olusegun Agagu, former governor of Ondo State, erudite scholar of theology, was always telling us when I was chairman of Sunshine Stars Football Club that, look, Kasali, you must get your players to go back to school. He said to not only to me, to a lot of people, that the tailor that made all his agbada and baban regards or whatever he wore was a medical doctor, and that the medical doctor made more money making his clothes, sewing his clothes for him, than he probably made as a medical doctor. That is telling us that you must get all hands to be on deck. So the fact that a student goes to school in the morning, when he or she comes back, are we getting them engaged in some other kind of activities to the point that they don't get carried away by the flexes or the alexis of social media, where a student in the secondary school is going to be using an iPhone that is about 1 million naira, 500,000 naira. How does such a student get such a phone? You know, the state government is very clear, the Ministry of Education, that phones are not allowed in school. So when you look at the out of control behavior of the students that is induced or occasioned from the home, from the society, from lack of active engagement, from lack of involvement of the churches and the mosque and the communities, where everybody is only interested in who brings money is the person to be glorified. In the olden days, we do inter Adubo football club. Ọgbọ́n Alẹ́kùn Oya Bọ̀gẹ̀dọ̀gbọ̀n gbá bọ́ọ̀lù, Bọ̀gẹ̀dọ̀gbọ̀n Oya Bùṣèlú gbá bọ́ọ̀lù, Ọ̀gbáfẹ́lẹ̀lẹ̀, ọjọ́ Saturday, Sunday. You know, you broaden relationship and smoothen friendship. Okay, you get people engaged. All those things are fading. You know, parents become worshippers of their children because they may not be doing enough. But as a community, we must rise to checkmate all the menace. That's why I started by saying that our story is hacking to mounting a tiger. How we disembark becomes a problem. We can see disembark if I'm on the top of a tiger, and then you know that this is how you can give me a bow or arrow or food, carrot and stick approach to disengage or to discourage the tiger or disorient the tiger so that I can disengage. I can get off from the back of the tiger. That is the scenario. So sports hooliganism, you can't take up a drug from it. A good number of our students are into drugs. Either we like it or not, because they see people doing cannabis, marijuana, THC, you know, cocaine, opium, amphetamine, all these kind of illicit drugs that people are taking in all forms, from codeine and some serious level of medications that people should not be taking. They must be prescribed by a doctor. But people are getting them out of control, out of the counter, and people are nefariously using them. So until we begin to address that, And the truth remains as well, we have not paid enough attention to mental illness of our people. Because you look at a father that has lost his job, he was managing with one job before. He cannot pay the school fees of his children. How does he control his home? His wife is also struggling. The wife may actually disengage the level of respect, and the man is losing his senses. Is he checking his BP? Is he checking other vital signs to be able to do a mental health assessment before he slips into depression? And when people go into depression, there will be loneliness, and then the mind begins to wander out of range, out of control. Problem can be on the horizon. So sport hooliganism happens when certain issues are not addressed appropriately, when the students or individuals are left without any kind of modicum of guidance. I'm not going to call it control, it's guidance. Because the moment you are over 16, 17, 18 years, 19 years old, you are basically on your own. If you are a girl or a boy, but an average person must be able to say, no, come at me, what is best in school? We have my next qualification for a medical doctor. Hey, she gonna not a medical doctor. Hey, she gonna not the engineer. Hey, she gonna not the lawyer or the engineering. But the truth remains that whatever field you are in, you must be guided. You must remain focused. You must be determined to excel and promote and produce the culture that was noted for, which is hard work, which is honesty, which is dedication, as opposed to control or uncontrolled mayhem that is unleashed at will without any kind of recourse to mentality or sensibility of calmness.
God bless you, sir. I really appreciate you, sir. Sir, is there any way the government can intervene to assist in curbing the sport hooliganism?
Well, we must give credit to Baba Awolowo and late Baba Adekunle Ajashi. Those were disciplined individuals, and Dr. Agago, and some of the leaders. It has to do with discipline. You must have a committed or disciplined government. It's not government that is playing laissez-faire attitude. It is not governance by pictorial evidence. It's not pictures everywhere. So, I think, sincerely, there must be a large pool of ideas or meetings where we go back. The Ministry of Education, are we even having the right structure? Are we having the right frame to address the global needs of our kids? Are we only going to be doing business admin? I'm not saying business admin is not the right thing to do, but are we diversifying our brain? Are we getting the structure in terms of structural adjustment about planning? What is the global trend of education? What do we need to do? I hear lately that now government is saying that history to be introduced. In those days when you and I were in secondary school, 70s or so, you talk about the history of Ghana, Dahomey, Ashanti Ashanti Fanti Confederacy, Mali, Songhai, Ghana Empire, Oyo Empire, Kanuri Empire. Then before you begin to go to Europe, Congo Park, who discovered America, and you would probably talk about the history of Orenche, you talk about the history of Ayelala, if you go to Igare, you talk about the river that is there, all the dams. You had people, you have educators that were able to interpolate. They did not even have to have master's degree. Who were now worshiping in Methodist High School, used football as a tool to get the best out of the students. I am a benefactor of his goodwill, using soccer or football to reach back to the community. We get back all of us, we get all of us involved, like what one Dr. Olachuko is doing in Owo. He's an engineer. He did not even go to any secondary school in Owo, but is committed to the growth of what it is we need to do to get all the schools in the right frame of mind, in the right reading of education to succeed. So specifically, I think we all need to do more, including government. You look at the structures of the school. Some of the schools don't have enough teachers. Some of the schools don't have enough buildings. So there should be recruitment based on competence, not Omabamiri, Omayemiri. Let's get the best, provide the atmosphere, empower the teachers, and make me a teacher. Don't make teaching to be a profession. Don't let teachers look wretched. Let them also use good vehicles. Support them, encourage them, motivate them. Just like you motivate the police or the civil defense or the army. Because these are part of our society. These people are part of the community. So we must do a holistic re-evaluation of some of those things that we need to do. What we need to do is to look at the curriculum of education in school and see are we in conformity with best global practices. I'll tell you an example. There are a large number of people who will say that they are doctors or nurses from Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon and all of that, and they go to these other countries, either in Canada. My brother, only a very small percentage will key in to the medical system. Either for fear of way slow, that people don't think Yema measure up to that standard. We must fit into that standard so that you don't have a medical doctor from Nigeria who will end up in say in South Africa, Abesika kwa taxi. We wait for fear of kwa taxi channel now. But our educational system right now must fit what it is that is the global norm for performance and outcome.
I am seriously impressed. I am seriously impressed. I am carried away. You will discover that we have officially enjoyed our heavily loaded honorable in our kingdom here. And since morning we have been conspicuously speaking what we call vernacular. English language is a vernacular. We want to go Owo now. That is a good thing. Ojo mo waya ringe. Ego wo yan me for free. Obanoyen. The name o symbolize Oba. Onoye. You don't understand. Again, family owo Ọlọ́run ẹgẹ dire I don't know how far that is true sir.
Òtítọ́ rẹ̀.
Okay.
Ọlọ́run gèjà òun bọ̀ pẹ̀lú mi. Ọlọ́run gèjà. Okay. You know history Owo.
Yes sir.
The Ogiso dynasty existed in 1170 AD. Owo has been in existence before 1170 AD. So there were range of leaders. Originally about Iwa. But because of evolution and history, when you check the history, but the truth remains,
Very interesting.
Family, polygamous setting. Ọ̀dà wé fọ̀fí ọ̀wọ́n ya yọba ẹran ní fọ̀fí ọmọ ayọ̀ wọn bí fọ̀fí ọ̀wọ́n tó máa lọ́wọ́ ọ̀bàfí ọ̀wọ́n tó máa nẹ́ ẹ̀. So somewhere along the line ọ̀yà bùnkín náà wọn máa yàyà mú ọ bí ọ̀yà rí yẹn máa bùnkín náà wọn. In the animal kingdom power is might. So gẹ́gẹ́ ọba òun play role including ọlọ́wọ́ Gèjà who had his fort in Aimogija. Aimogija simply means Amen Ogeja, the mark of Olowo of Ogeja, an outpost for defense and attack when necessary. So Olowo Ogeja won pọ̀ Rumi. So ibami ti bọ̀ fi ọgbọ́n náà ọgbọ́n wa látẹ̀rùn abogun oyè abogun atanẹ̀yẹ abalamurẹ́ gẹ́gẹ́ ọ̀hún ayé bí wẹ́n ayé ọmọ bá ọmọ rẹ̀ legitimately but in the process ó yà ní ọmọ ọba yọmọ àdìgbò orúkọ wọn má for example Àjàká ọjọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ Àjàká dẹ̀ mú ju bọ́ọ̀wọ̀ no so ó dẹ̀ likely for few of the year ó yà the next generation to come history may be resuscitated to see for few there is a lineage of Àjàká ọlọ́wọ́ Alágúnwáyè ọlọ́wọ́ Atánẹ̀yẹ Ọlágbègí Ògúnòyè. You can't draw a distinctive distinction between these people. They are all one. They are all the same. It is just that with politics and interest begin to pitch interest against interest. And sometimes politics is manipulated to destroy, whereas politics should be an asset, an attribute of enjoyment. So to succinctly answer your question, yes, Ọlọ́run Ogeja, òun ó pọ̀ pọ̀ Rumi. Débàdọ́là, if I make it big, lọ́gbà mo fẹ́ I become Bill Gates. Níbi àyè mo fi mo fẹ́ kárí gidi o, mo fẹ́ kọ́ supermarket ọ̀kà síbẹ̀ yìí. For the first 1 million people don't yàgbọ́n iye bá rè wọn iná bẹ́ẹ̀ ni òyìn àti mú yìí ní bá dùn lọ́wọ́ ọmọ jẹ ní bá afọbajẹ ní ma fọfí níbi tí baseline ń fọfí ọmọ afọbajẹ náà yẹn ní fọfí yìí lò alùpùpù for example ní wọ́n fọfí mo fẹ́ gbádùn kóòtà ẹ̀wọ̀n bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àbúrò ọmọ kan ti kọ̀ Will you not prefer an helicopter than an alupupu? Is the decision not going to be made? And the trend that is going on now, I'm not saying that is the bad trend. Okay, there are some of questionable calls by some governments right now in Nigeria. Why do you think people are doing that? You need to evolve a system to actually improve the community and modernize the community. So modernization and religion may have tampered with some of the nature or the trend or the phenomenon or the growth or the trajectory of what chieftaincy or traditional pursuit is supposed to be. That is known. Obewe America or America jeje, Obewe Canada, Obewe Ohio or Hawaii or Honolulu. There were indigenous people there. But when you go there, you still see some traces. So I don't know more. Indian. There were Indians. There were original Indians in the American soil before 1492 when Christopher Colombo came to visit America. Christopher Colombo did not discover America. Christopher Colombo merely came to visit. People were growing. Yes, met some people there. People were growing rice. People were Orisa sativa. People were growing maize, sea maize. People were growing rubber, Evra brasiliensis. People were growing palm tree and some other stuff. So would that make them inferior? The system may have made them look inferior, but are they going to forget their roots? The answer is no. I think that is the same antithesis or relationship we know. Power is might. To survive, they are ruling, but that does not make those other people that are not powerful not to be king. Can you also believe that somebody like Basi, what do you think that doesn't fulfill or trace in a law or so do it? Who says you are not qualified to do law? Okay, if you are able to trace the rudiment or your genesis to your revelation in the tradition of Owo, and you have the wherewithal, you have the good name, that people will benefit from your inherent commitment in the community, so be it. Thank you.
God bless you, sir. I really appreciate you, sir. Then how do we preach love within the community? Because since 2019 up to date, there were rumors up and down that Olowo should not come to Ijebu. Ijebu should not come to this place. There were a lot of pandemonium. How do you think there will be love? Because as you have spoken, ẹ̀yẹ́ ìgbà kan ó bí gẹ́gẹ́ wọn ẹ̀bà yẹn dán wọn yà visit ara di ọjọ́ wọn yà visit ọlọ́wọ̀ yà visit ọlọ́wọ̀ yà visit ọjọ́ wọn gẹ́gẹ́ wọn ká kára ọ̀gbọ́n pálá sára ẹ̀bà yẹn.
Ọwọ́n àgbààgbà mọ̀ wọ̀ relatively àwọn amadé àwọn àgbà yìí ti rèé. Wọ́n bá sẹ́gun à.
Bẹ́ẹ̀sà.
Àwọn àgbààgbà ó yẹ dán wọn dá sí i. Àgbà kì í wà lọ́jà orí ọmọ tuntun wọ́.
Kún bá ẹ̀rẹ́ repeat rẹ̀ sọ́sà.
Kún bá sẹ́gun à.
Bẹ́ẹ̀sà.
Àwọn àgbà náwó sí i.
Àwọn àgbà náwó sí i.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tẹ́bá ti fẹ́ sẹ́gun ànàkejì. Àwọn àgbà di náwó sí i. Òun ẹjọ́ wífọ̀fin àgbà ò lè wà lọ́jà orí ọmọ tuntun wọ́. So the elders, the two factions or the two brothers must be encouraged to see reason. Torí fọ̀fin, when there is no harmony, when there is no peace, you cannot talk about development. So the people that the tradition has actually empowered to do the needful and say the truth and talk to the parties that are involved must rise above the occasion. But that's all for them. It's also relatively ọmọdé àwọn àyè ọjọ́ mi rèé. I have actually looked at the whole situation for fi the guitar jẹ dọ̀bọ̀rà jẹ the guitar bá jẹ kọ̀bàrà bá jẹ òun lọ ti sẹ́gun á. There's no need to continue to put asunder in something that is fragile for a very long time, even before Oja ni dun cholo.
Àṣẹ.
Ojo mama ye ne adi dagba o tuka di ni jojo.
Àṣẹ.
Okay, this has been an issue over the years. You know, most people will say for fear of war move siwaju because of this kind of friction. But there are leaders, you know, there are politicians who should be sincere, who must be sincere, who needs to be sincere to talk to people. Thank God, the deputy governor of Ondo State today is from Owo. Yes. So it has to be a fruitful engagement over the years to continue to see where do we need to meet these foremost leaders midway and see where we begin to talk to their followers. Lọ́yà rí fọ̀fí Olúbásẹ́ngbà òun ti rí jẹ́. For example, something is just rearing its head. I don't want to talk about that on camera yet. Ọmọ fi ọjà yìí tẹ́lẹ̀ rí Methodist àti Màdẹ̀. From what is going on now, ó ti di community ọjà. Community ọjà in the sense that Imade College belongs to everybody yẹn ọ̀wọ̀. Bí Imade College ń bá bó ti wà ní Methodist wá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Okay, so àwọn leaders, àwọn principal schools in Àárẹ̀ àti àwọn concerned people, stakeholders must begin to find out K Fajayi, it is beyond fulfilling your way. Religion. So ó ti kọjá fọ̀fin ìtọ́rí fọ̀fin Ìmàdẹ̀ befriend the ọmọ girls in St. Catherine. The St. Catherine's ọmọ befriend the girls Methodist. There must be some other reason. What happened in the last 5 years? Ìjọba fi ọmọ Methodist, ìjọba ọmọ Ìmàdẹ̀, ọmọ Ayọ̀gbogbo, ọmọ Madia, ọmọ New Church, ọmọ Ayọ̀gbogbo. The leaders must be sincere. Eji doka passion blame. When I tell you of your attack me police station. When they attack me, my attack padà. I mean verbal attack. Let's say for me wọlé jokosi. You can be a professor in your own class. I may be a babalawo in my own class. Okay, equivalent for Igbo where I can which means we will match halfway to the point that I will not allow you to intimidate me. Based on the fact he may wait for fee, it's based on substance. It's not based on sentiment. So we got to never joko on the round table. Then in a way, we have to be able to do that. It has been done in a number of countries. It is done in South Africa under Mandela. That's why you get in peace there. Under apartheid, it happened. It was not an easy process. It happened between Honduras and Nicaragua when there was war because of football, of hooliganism. Sorry for people about Jabuta, only take over when the shots are down. You still come back to the round table, just like it was done in Berlin in 1954, where Africa was partitioned between the superpowers of the world. We must engage to be able to have meaningful dialogue for progress to happen.
God bless you, sir. I really appreciate you, sir. God in infinite mercy will continue to bless you. In the mornings you are going to be blessed. In the afternoon you are going to be blessed. Those of you who are watching us from the diaspora, Honorable Kasali Obanoyen, a great academician, the only man who possesses exemplary character, whose exemplarity has responsibly arrested my sense of rationalism here. To continue to respect his maturity, his objectivity, and sagacity. Otibawa fogere si wewe o. Now o re bidu aba gbadua ngerege won ba yin won. Do ba bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti Ọlọ́run, do ba jadu àwọn Ọlọ́run, tigere won ba. Yin abe.
O jama do nso Ọlọ́run.
Àṣẹ.
Esun yi ajo Ọlọ́run adagba kuje.
Àṣẹ.
Eti ọba ajokope.
Àṣẹ.
Àṣẹ ba eyin pe.
Àṣẹ.
Ẹni bá fi dowo ma sengo àwọn na ni sengo.
Àṣẹ.
Ẹni bá fi Ìjẹ̀bú ma sengo Ìjẹ̀bú ni sengo.
Àṣẹ.
Ojo mo luda Ìjẹ̀bú ni tukari e.
Àṣẹ.
Gele mure Isuwada Iyere Amure Upele Ujo Oyowo Nigba gele won re yan re Ọlọ́run an petu sí ọmọ.
Àṣẹ.
Ọmọ ye pe ku ti won yo mo edebi pa mo ku ebi mana ku mi menikeni ó ti Igbo ó ti Hausa ó ti àwa Yorùbá ó ti kokore fo eje fo elebe gbogun aye dokan e ma balẹ̀ lọ́kàn ẹ̀ má balẹ̀ ló ìjàkè ìlú ṣẹ́gun wọn.
àṣẹ.
ìjàkè má dọ̀wọ̀ bàjẹ́.
àṣẹ.
gédégédé ló ká tọ̀wọ̀ gédégédé wọn afá gédégédé wọn afá lójú òtítọ́ ọmọ pàìtọ̀ lójú òtítọ́ ọmọ babaláwo lójú òtítọ́ lọ́wọ́n kájà àdúrà ní ìkọ̀kọ̀ ní gbangba àdúrà rọ̀ lọ́lọ́run má dùn bàjẹ́.
àṣẹ.
lọ́lọ́run pètù sí ọkàn àwọn burúkú yẹn náà ọ̀gá yín gédé. lọ́wọ́ má dùn rúbi lọ́lọ́run má dojú wa rúbi o. ó tọ̀wọ́ dì ní rúbi o. yàrá rí láìpẹ́ yọ ọtí pọ̀ mọ́ máa wá gédé yọ ọtí pọ̀ mọ́ àlejò ọlọ́run má dàá nìdúró ẹ̀ owó ní ìbàjẹ́ ìjẹ̀bú ní ìbàjẹ́ Ondo State ní ìbàjẹ́ Nàìjíríà ní ìbàjẹ́ gédégédé àgbáyé ní ìbàjẹ́ ibi gédégédé wa bẹ́ẹ̀ la àárín tó wá jẹ́ bẹ̀ ọ́ tó gbọ́dọ̀ máa ra gba gidigede wá dàgbà o gédégédé gíye lẹ́gbẹ̀dẹ̀ bá mọ́wọ́ kàtẹ́gún gédégédé wo yẹ bá náwó sí nítẹ̀tọ́ nítọ̀nà lọ́hùn lè ní ìbàjẹ́ o ọmọ ọmọ wa ò lẹ́wà gédégédé ọlọ́run àti ọmọ o ọmọ yẹn gbọ́ wa gédégédé tí wọ́n ní ìbàjẹ́ o gédégédé náà kó èrè kó tó lé ọkàn wọn balẹ̀ o ọmọ àríntì o ọmọ náà láfíà God bless you so gracias thank you.
God bless you sir. God bless you sir. You will discover that our guest today as I powerfully exhibited a bilateral combination of good character. We needed to continue to respect his maturity, his objectivity, and sagacity at all times. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, in our next discussion, after we went to you go to that's our next discussion of the travel in the US.